So hello, welcome along to Eclipse Motorcycles. Riding out with a red bomb today. We're going to be taking out this is the Hyosung. This is the GT125R V-twin engine on this one, and this is final ride test for a customer due to collect today. As you can tell, absolutely gorgeous looking machine in that red livery with those race logos and the Hyosung on the tank. Single disc to the front on this one. You've got them nice LED headlights as well, bulbed indicators on this one, and then you've got that single rear disc to the rear on that one as well. So all ready to ride. I'm just going to hop on the machine, and then once the clock's enable, wait for it all to fire up. And as you can tell from the off, lovely sounding machine, this one. So we're just going to take this out and give it its final road test. Now with most of the V-twins, they do require a fair amount of warm-up before you can actually get them going. So I'm going to take this one out and give it a nice little run. Now, seating position on this, feet are slightly back and behind me, sports bike style. But the seating position, you're very upright on this one. So you're not down right over the bars like you would with a full sports bike. Very nice riding position. And it does pull down through that gearbox very well. Obviously we're on fresh rubber on this bike.
A few moments later.
So just back into the ride test, and a little bit busy in town, so we brought it out onto the open road. We're just going to run it down the dual carriageway and get a few miles on this. Just tell you about this Hyosung GTR. Obviously they did discontinue the range of these, so this is probably about the last Hyosung GTR that you'll ever see brand new. Exceptional bike, nice big LED speedo to the front of this, just tells you mileage. Obviously we have to stay below 40 mile an hour for the process of running in, but that's just sitting just over about 5,000 RPM, and that's in the 5th gear, so 5-speed box on this one. Exceptional road holding on this one as well. Obviously it is an upright position, not so much of a, it is a sports bike, but obviously you're not as dropped down as you would be on a normal sports bike. Nice big display as well. It tells you all the indicators on there. You've got your main beam, your neutral, and of course your warning lights on there. Just to the right hand side of that, you've got your fuel tank, and then you've got your time and your mileage, your odometer just to there, and a nice big rev counter to the left. But it does grip the road very well. Very stable bike. And it is very comfortable as well. It's got that nice deep seat with the padding just to behind you, and it does tuck you into the tank very well. So we're just going to sit it nice steady 40 mile an hour and tell you a little bit about the Hyosung GT125R. Now when these first came out, they were one of the big selling bikes. Everybody wanted it due to the style and the power of that V-twin engine, and we still have customers that have got these after about 2 or 3 years that still absolutely love them. They are a very, very nice bike to ride. Great little 125, just going backwards and forwards to work, and of course the aesthetics on it. It has got that sports bike appeal from the look of it. You can tell from the mirrors are adequate. You can move them out a little bit more, but you do get quite a bit of hand and shoulder in them. Obviously I tend to ride with my arms in quite a bit, but there's not a lot of view from them mirrors. You could do with a little bit longer on the mirrors, or just canting over just so you could get a bit more back view on these. Very, very similar to the mirrors that you get on the big sports bike, where you constantly got an elbow showing in the way and you're having to shift your head just to see over the shoulder. Screen works very, very well. It is shielding me from all that wind that's coming from the front. It does go straight over the top of the helmet, so you're not getting your head pushed around. So the windscreen at the front does deflect most of the wind. Controls are very, very easy to use as well. Nice, easy feel to get to all of these. Now obviously this is a carburetted bike, so it does require a bit of warming up on that choke first thing in the morning. It's not one of those that you can just sit on and go straight off with. It does require a little bit of warming up just to get the engine up to temperature. But it's got a lovely big fuel tank on it as well. Obviously you get a good 3 to 4 gallons in that easily. Just check the obviously check the spec, and it will tell you what the fuel tank will hold. Feet pegs are very, very comfortable. As I said earlier, they slightly canted back from an upright position, so your feet are behind you slightly, but the actual position is very, very good. Soaks up the potholes nice and well. Suspension at the front is exceptionally soft, but not too soft that you're going to pick up all the potholes and feel it through the bar. So it does a very, very good job of damping that out for you. And that single rear shock under the seat, that is very, very comfortable as well. Obviously I'm just going to take this back in town and show you what it's like round the roundabouts. And what the handling is like. Obviously we're on fresh rubber on this one as well. So just pulling down through the box. And I'm just going to give it a nice big handful, clutch in. And as you can see, stops on a sixpence. Very, very good. Clutch pull on this, normally about an inch out from the bar, so very good clutch response on this. And from the off, it does pick up very, very well for a 125. And obviously feeding it in the corners, got some damp roads today. It does pull very, very well through the corners as well. So nice bit of road holding from this bike. And that little V-twin just chugging away below me. Now obviously today it's very, very windy following the storms that we had. Still a lot of side wind coming around, but I'm not being pushed around like you'd expect from a normal little 125 bike. Normally you get a bit of sideways wind and you're all over the place, but this, obviously the weight of this bike does hold you in position. And low speed handling, that's just first gear, a little bit of throttle, and the low speed handling is very, very good. and then just keeping up with the flow of traffic as well, just working the way through the box, up into 5th gear. And it does maintain its road speed very well. Quick shoulder check as I move out to the outside lane. And obviously we're doing it right at this roundabout. But once again, just pulling it in on the back brake, and as you can see, back brake pulls up very, very well as well. Obviously getting through the gearbox as quick as possible, so we're not pushing the revs too hard. And once again leaning it and feeding it through that roundabout. It does handle very, very well. Now I'm in 5th gear and just chugging along at a nice steady 25, but nice little bit of torque from the engine just to pull you along. Obviously once run in you can open up that rev range, but upright in traffic, feet are nicely planted. It's not a very high in the seat bike. And then once again feeding it through the roundabouts. Very, very nice. I do love the Hyosung brand. It's just a shame they discontinued the best-selling model. Obviously the company has been taken over now by Sinis Motorcycles instead of MotoGP. But they are still a very, very good bike. And there was a couple of the Hyosungs that I absolutely loved, this being one of them, the GTR. My other favourite was the GV, especially the big 650 that they did. 650 GV was an amazing machine. And they find a little bit over some potholes and some bumps, and as you can see, that suspension soaks that up very, very nicely. I'm finally pulling onto the yard, just pulling down through that box. And we'll just pull it up and one final look around this motorcycle. As you can see, Hyosung GT125R. What an amazing motorcycle this is for a 125. Nice daytime running lights to the front, all liveried up, and the deep red colour, just a pure red, does look a lot better than the two-tone that they used to do. So there we go, riding out with Eclipse motorcycles, Hyosung GT125R V-twin, and you've been riding out with the Rev Bomb.